idea of what you can do with the North China Herald, let's take a single case study, the Margary Affair of 1875. Augustus Raymond Margary was a young British vice-consul who was sent to meet a British expedition that was exploring a route overland from Burma into China. He met the expedition just over the border in Burma, then turned around and moved back into China ahead of it. Unfortunately, he was ambushed and killed. His head was chopped off and hung from the wall of the nearest city. This became a massive incident for the British and was the cause of a big diplomatic flare-up and much table-thumping of a particular mid-late Victorian kind. Now, if you tap in Margary into the North China Herald, you'll start to build up a picture not just of the incident itself as it unfolds, the murder, the British diplomatic responses, the outrage in the editorial, but you will also find out more about Margary the man and Margary as memorialised and remembered. The shipping lists, there are lots of lists of passengers coming in and out, will give you a sense of his movements. There may well be news items about transfers and appointments within the British consular service. You might find a record of him attending this sports event or this soiree, or a record of him saving somebody's life in the Huangpu. He jumped in to save a drowning Chinese man at some point. So you'll find Margary the man there as well, but you will also find the community's reaction, which was to demand retribution from the Chinese, but also to immediately start to memorialise him, to hold a series of meetings and to raise money, and eventually to decide on a design of a memorial that was unveiled a few years after his death by a man who later went on to be editor of the North China Herald, Bob Little. So this memorial is unveiled, and in the newspaper you get an account of the unveiling ceremony, who was present, what was said at the time, how this incident of Margary's death was portrayed, which is very interesting, the language that is used by Bob Little and British officials and others about this young hero of empire who has sacrificed himself in Burma. You will also find the later history of the memorial and the later history of how people, foreigners, remembered a figure like Margary or an event like the Margary Affair, which leads to a further treaty between the British and the Chinese called the Chifu Convention, the Chifu Convention. So various different elements of the newspaper can be brought to bear on trying to understand the immediate murder of Augustus Raymond Margary, diplomatic responses, popular responses, which range from angry denunciations saying it's better that 9 innocent people die so that one guilty Chinese will suffer for this incident. And that's the type of extreme viewpoint that you can find in the newspaper, and opposing viewpoints as well. One of the interesting things about it is that you get a full range of opinion, especially in its letters pages. But as I said, you can find out about Margary the man arriving in China, his appointments, and Margary the memorial in the 1920s or the 1930s, how it's viewed, how it's remembered, and how it's treated. To do that, you need a full range of sections of the newspaper, its editorials, its news items, its shipping lists, reports on the unveiling of the memorial, or reports on meetings, for example. So it enables you to locate these various threads in a way which is simply practically impossible with the existing hard copy newspaper. The hard copy newspaper is indexed, but only to a certain level. Beyond that, you're on your own, unless you have access to a digitised version like this one.